Hello friends, in this video we are going to see a very important topic of C programming, that is structure. The structure is one type of formation of a blueprint. Through that you can define the variables like an object. We'll brief in this video. Structure is a collection of dissimilar data types, or we can say it is a heterogeneous data types which is grouped together. It means that data types may or may not be of a same type. See, we have seen one of the data structure, that is of array, right? But in array we store the similar data types, right? The elements which are of similar data types. But if you want to store the data item which is of different data type, then you can form the structure of that element. Then how we can declare the structure? So for that you have to use the keyword, that is struct. Then whatever the structure name you want to give, inside the curly bracket specify the data type member1, member2, member3, goes on till how many members you want to define. Close your curly bracket with a semicolon. This is one type of declaration of your structure. And if you want to declare the structure like different ways, so that is also possible. So structure name, then different elements, close it with a semicolon, then structure and that variable declaration, like which object you are going to define with that structure. For example, struct student. Inside the student structure we are defining int age, char name is 20, char branch is 20, and for the structure we are saying struct student s. So s is a variable. Through that you can access these all elements like age, name and branch. Fine. Next, so this is also one of the way through that we can initialize or we can declare the structure like struct, the different data types of members, and with the semicolon we have to end it. Or struct whatever the tag name, inside the curly bracket specify the structure naming. Now we'll see the initialization of a structure variable. Like a primary variables, structure variables can also be initialized when they get declared. Structure templates can be defined locally or globally. That is depend on your requirement. If you want, you can define it locally. If you want, you can define it globally. If it is local, then it can be used within that function. If it is global, then it can be used by all the functions of the program, right? We can't initialize the structure member while defining the structure, right? If you want to define the structure member, initialize it, that is not possible inside the structure. You want to initialize it, then you have to call that member using the variable name. Fine. Next, see the example they have given. Struct student, inside that they are saying int age is equal to 20, character name is Sona. Then I have created one variable, that is s1. The above is invalid, right? We have seen in the previous slide that we cannot initialize the member of a structure inside the structure, because if we define it, right, so those value becomes constant. We cannot change it. So if you want to change, then you have to use the initialization method using the variable name, right? So that is not possible. So this thing is invalid. Fine. Next, a structure can be initialized as a struct student, then int age, roll number, character name. Then we can specify like this for the particular variable, but right. So for S1 we can say the age is 16, 101 is the roll number, and Sona is her name. Fine. But these values are for variable S1. We cannot give the value to the particular structure. Or we can say struct student S2 is 17, 102, and Rupa. If initializer is less than number of structure variable, automatically rest value are taken as a 0. Next, accessing structure element. Dot operator is used to access the structure element. Its associativity is from left to right. Always. Structure variable S1 dot name with a bracket. So always it will start from left to right. Fine. So first it will access the S1 variable, and then he will access the those property members, structure members, S1 roll number, S1 age. So elements of a structure are stored in a contiguous memory location. Values of a structure variable can be assigned to another structure variable of the same type using assignment operator. Next, see in this example, inside the word main, we have created one structure with a struct keyword. The name is student, and inside this student structure we having three variable members, that is roll number, age, and branch. And for that structure we have created two variable, one is S1 and one is S2. Now we are printing those values like printf enter the roll number, age, and branch. So if you want to access those variables, these variables, so for that you have to provide the variable name. So we will say s1 dot roll number, the first value will be s1 dot roll number, the second value will be s1 dot age, and the third value will be s1 dot branch. Now what we are saying, s1 dot roll number is equal to s2 dot roll number. So we are saying s1 roll number is equal to the s2 roll number. That means both the roll numbers are same. Now we are displaying the student details, and we are saying printf s1 roll number, s2, s1 age, and s1 branch, and s2 roll number. Unary, relational, arithmetic, bitwise operators are not allowed within the structure variable. Please remember, unary, relational, arithmetic, and bitwise operators are not allowed inside the structure variable. You cannot use those operators to perform any type of operation. So only assignment operator is allowed to use, and logical operators. That's it. Next, size of a structure. So the size of a structure can be found using the method that is size of operator, which is already we have learned in the types of operator, with a structure variable name or a tag. Size of struct student or size of S1. So you will get a size of variable S1, size of S2. Size of a structure is different in a different machines. So size of whole structure may not be equal to the size of its members. Fine. Arrays of structure. When database of any element is used in a huge amount, we prefer array of structure. Always remember, when the database required a huge amount of elements, so that time what we can do, we can provide the structure inside the array feature. Passing structure element to a function, how we can do that? We can pass each element of a structure through the function, but passing individual element is difficult when number of structure element increases. To overcome this, we used to pass the whole structure through function instead of passing individual element. Are you getting it? See, it is very difficult to pass s1 dot roll number, s1 dot name, number of elements, how many the structure will contains, those elements should get passed to the function. It becomes very difficult, right? So it's much better to just pass the structure name, that is student. Fine. So the whenever the function will get called, on the depend of that function call, whatever the requirement, he will accept those variables. Next, see the example. Inside the void main, they have created the structure student. In the student structure, they have created three variables: name, branch, and roll number. Then for that student structure, they have created one variable, that is s. Now they are accepting the values: enter a name, then enter a roll number, then enter a branch, and they're displaying all three values. After done with that, they are specifying this method. See, this is a display is a method, and for this method they have provided name, roll number, and branch. Now what happening? Printf name, roll number, branch, s dot name, s dot roll, s dot branch, and closing it. So what happens whenever you require the structure variables? So you don't need to worry about it. You can access it directly with the help of variable declarations of a structure. Now, passing entire structure to the function. How we can do that? See, same thing. We have created the structure student with the three variables. Then we are creating a method, that is display, and for the display we are passing struct to student, entire structure. So inside the void main we are saying struct student s1. So we have provided three values for s1, we have provided three values for s2. Now what will happen? See, display s1, display s2. So you don't need to worry, you just need to pass the variable name when you are calling the function, right? So when the s1 will get passed, so the three values, that is for Rupa 101 and the next value will get sent to the display method, and s2, that is next method values, will get sent to the display method. And what display method contains? Printf name, age, and roll number. So on the basis of that, you will get the s1 details, you will get the s2 details as well. So by passing the different elements to the function, just pass the structure name. So whenever you required it, you just need to pass the variable name. So on the basis of that variable name, you can get your values. It becomes easy to perform by different variable names. One more example they have given. Suppose we want to maintain a database of 200 students. So we will use the array of structure. So how we can use it? See, we have created one structure which is a student for the three variables. Then inside the void main, what they are doing, they are created student structure ka student array. Are you getting it? They are creating the student array, that is S200. Now with the help of for loop, they are accepting the different values for the S, and each and every value, after getting those values, they are displaying those values. That's it, using for loop. So it becomes very easier to accept numerous values using array also. So see, when you are creating normal variable, it is easy, right? But if you want to access like s200 something, right? So that is very difficult to create a variable s1 dot something, s2 dot something. So it becomes easier to make the array of a structure variable. So it, on the basis of for loop, whenever the number of elements you require, on the basis of that you will provide the value for it. In the array of structure, each element of array is of a structure type in the above example. So it does not depend on the array, right? Every element of an array is of structure data type. Then array within the structure. Now we'll see different concept. Now we have seen that is array of a structure. Now we are seeing array within the structure. So how we can do that? See, structure student. then character name 30, then int role age marks. So this is arrays which is inside the structure. Fine. And now we are creating the variable which is also the array structure. So we can also initialize using the same syntax as an array. Next is nested structure. So how we can form the nested structure also. When a structure is within the another structure, right, that is called as nested structure. A structure variable can be a member of another structure. How we can represent it? So the example, structure student, element 1, 2, number of elements you want. Then inside that we are creating another structure, that is structure student 1. Inside that the different members, and we are closing it. So variable 1 will be the member of student 1 as well as the member of students also. It is possible to define the structure outside and declare its variable inside other structure. It is also possible. Fine. So structure date. Inside the date structure, we have created two variables, date and month. Then structure student. Inside the student structure, we have created three variables, which is name, roll number, and for the student structure, we have created date structure D variable. Are you getting it? So we have created the variable of a structure date. So that is also possible. Then student S1 and student S2 and S3. So we have created the object variable of a student structure. So nested structure may also be initialized at the time of declaration like in above example. Struct student S, name 200 and date with a month. So this is also possible. So how we can declare RAM 201 and 12 and 11. So while declaration also we can provide the values, and on those basis of those values we can give the initialization to the structure. Nesting of a structure within itself is not a valid. Are you getting? So we cannot call itself recursion, right? Recursion function. It is not possible, right, for the recursion structure. Nesting of a structure can be extended to any level. For example, struct time, int HR and mean. Then we are creating another structure day. For that we are created two variables. One is date and month. And for the day we are calling the struct time, which is previous one. And struct student name. Inside this we are calling day structure. And we are created two variables. Fine. So in struct student we are accessing day, and in day we are accessing time. So that is also possible. Are you getting it? So with the help of stud1, stud2 and stud3, we are going to access student as well as day as well as time. Are you getting? So three structures we can access using one variables. So that's it in this video. So in this video we have brief about what a structure is, how we can structure initialization perform, how we can perform the structure declaration, how we can declare the structure inside the structure, how we can use the array of structure within and outside, then how we can pass the structure to the function, how we can pass the structure variable to the function, what is the use of dot operator. So these are fundamentals we have seen in this video. Thank you.